Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel today. Today I wanted to talk about something I've been thinking about a lot more since it's kind of passed, because there was a movie that came out, or should have came out at least, Across the Spider-Verse. If you don't know, this movie was supposed to come out this October. It got delayed to next year because that's just my luck. But I was thinking about it and just mourning the fact that I wasn't going to be able to see it this month, and I thought, what spider people could potentially be in this movie, or different variants that could be in this movie. So I thought a really good idea for a video today would just be discussing some of my top picks for characters I want to see in Across the Spider-Verse. This is completely subjective. This is just me doing my research and just characters I would like to see in the film. So if you guys have any other options in the comments, I would love to hear them, because this movie is going to be crazy and I can't wait to see some of the crazy shit they come up with, and I'm just so down for this movie. Before anything though, I do want to discuss the big three elephants in the room: Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. I'm pretty confident that these three will be in Across the Spider-Verse to some capacity, if that's a cameo, or maybe they'll actually be like mainstay characters. I doubt that they'll be mainstay characters for one reason that I will explain. But I think these three would be pretty awesome to show up in this movie. Like, I understand No Way Home already happened. I know we already got these three in a movie. And it's kind of just up for debate. Will it be as special if they show up again together? And honestly, I think so. Like, sure, it was the first time and it was revolutionary, but I think I think everyone can agree with me and say that that was by far the best part of No Way Home, was the fact that they all showed up at the end. And I don't think anyone will get tired of that ever. And I think if you say you do get tired of it, you're kind of lying to yourself, because if you say you genuinely didn't like all three of them on screen, I don't know, man. It seems kind of suspicious with me. The only thing I'll say in terms of, like, do they need to be there? I don't personally think they need to be in these movies to, like, get me excited. These three actors, they don't need to be in this movie, because I think I'm going to be excited for this movie regardless. It's another Into the Spider-Verse movie. It's a sequel to probably my favorite animated movie of the last 10 years. Of course I'm going to be excited for it. And I don't think it's necessarily like a necessity for them to be in it, you know? It'll just be cool to see them again. The only reason I'm maybe like leaning more to the fact of like, if they show up, they show up, is the sheer fact if this Into the Spider-Verse movie is completely disconnected from the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it can be a part of it, like 100%. The multiverse is huge. But I would rather it just focus on its own characters right now instead of falling back on MCU characters, which, as cool as it would be to see them in this movie, it's not necessary, but I'd still be down to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland again. Don't get me wrong. Another Spider-Man I would really like to see, and this is going to sound so friggin' absurd, but I just think it would be funny, is a new variant called Spider-Rex. And you might be wondering, what? That exists? And yes, that exists. He actually appeared very recently, I believe, in a comic book. And if you don't know what Spider-Rex is, it's basically what if a T-Rex was Spider-Man. And I'm honestly not even going to explain it that hard, because it's just such a ridiculous premise. But the thing about Into the Spider-Verse is it's meant to be ridiculous. You're meant to have these really absurd types of Spider-Man in the movie. So, like, this, I think, would be the perfect addition to this movie. I think there's a couple reasons I want this character in the movie a lot. Mostly for comedy's sake, because I think the sheer fact of a T-Rex as a Spider-Man with those little arms shooting webs would be hilarious in this movie. And I really think the directors of the movie could pull it off and make it, like, the most hilarious thing you've ever seen in your life. Because just think of the physical comedy that could come along with this. Just tiny arms, just way too big, just it's a T-Rex with Spider-Man powers. How would that not be absurd? But I also think it would be kind of funny, so, Sony, I'm just saying, it's an opportunity. It's better than making a Madam Web movie, that's, I'll tell you that much for free. I really want to see the Spider-Man from the PlayStation game and Miles from the PlayStation game, because this isn't more of just like a funny thing, it's more of just I want to see these characters represented in the movie, because I friggin' love the PlayStation Spider-Man game, and I think that interpretation of the character of Peter Parker is insanely charming. He's awesome. Like, it's the definitive Spider-Man, in my opinion. Like, in my opinion, I think Spider-Man PS4 is the definitive Spider-Man game and character. I think they knock it out of the park with that character, And I think it'd be really cool to see him in the movie to some capacity. Miles doesn't need to be in it, but I think it'd be a nice little cherry on top, because I think it'd be kind of funny just having two Miles running around, you know? Because, you know, you're always so used to like, oh, there's a whole bunch of different Spider-Men out there, and there's different Peter Parkers, but what about Miles Morales? There has to be a couple of those. And I think that'd be quite cool, and I think I'm really banking on that for being in the movie, because I think that could bring some great comedic moments with it. Another variant of Spider-Man I really want to see is more of just an absurd one. Again, it's not too absurd, but he's the bombastic Spider-Man. And if you don't know what the bombastic Spider-Man is, it's basically, what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four? Because in this universe, Spider-Man joins the Fantastic Four, and he's on the team, but he forgets his mask. So what does he wear on his head? He wears a paper bag on his head. Do I have to say anything else? I think this is just one of those picks that's so, like Spider-Rex, it's just absurd. It's just funny, you know? I think it would be funny seeing this sort of Spider-Man in the movie, because once again, comedy. I think the comedy could be out of this world funny. I think that, like, I think seeing the Fantastic Four represented in some way in the Sony movies would be pretty cool, if Marvel would actually let them, we'll see. But I think that would be quite cool, and it'd be kind of getting more just like absurd lore for the character of Spider-Man, because not a lot of people know that that is an actual suit, and that actually happens in the comic books, and I think it'd be a really cool thing to bring that into this movie and just show people. And another really serious character I want in this movie is the Superior Spider-Man. Now, you might not know what the Superior Spider-Man is, but I think that this character could single-handedly be the most interesting character in the movie. Because I'm going to explain to you the origin of this character. And basically, the origin of this Spider-Man is that this is actually not Peter Parker at all. And if you know the comics books, you know what I'm talking about. But this is actually Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus. This is a version of Spider-Man where Doc Ock actually finds a way to transfer his consciousness inside the body of Peter Parker. And he does this for a little while to be evil, of course, but after a while he truly discovers the true meaning of with great power comes great responsibility, and he also he gets all of Peter Parker's memories, and so he truly understands why Peter Parker does what he does. And I think from a plot point of view and a narrative point of view, that could be really interesting to do. Like, maybe they hype him up as maybe like a more mysterious Spider-Man, and he's actually maybe like a twist villain that turns good by the end of the movie. Maybe he sacrifices himself, you know. I think it could be like a cool plot point in the movie if he's in it, and I think it could make for a good twist, and just a good, like, character with different morals, and just a different, more interesting version of Spider-Man that's not just so hung up on the idea of, you know, I am the little guy and I have to do this sort of stuff, but take it from a villain's point of view, trapped inside of Spider-Man's body, I think could be quite interesting. But another character I actually genuinely really want to see in this movie is Cindy Moon, aka Silk. Silk is one of those Marvel characters that gets brought up a little bit in the comics. I know a lot of people there's a lot of fans of the character from the comics, and I'm actually one of them. I really want to see her in the live action, but I think seeing her in Across the Spider-Verse will be the next best bet. But it's different opposed to the regular Spider-Man story, because unlike Peter Parker only getting bitten by the spider, this spider that bites Peter Parker actually lives and bites Cindy Moon on her ankle, and she actually develops spider powers as well. But she has slight similarities to, or things that make her different opposed to Peter Parker. Like, she actually has claws, which is a little bit kind of interesting and could be kind of cool in action sequences. And she also is entirely organic webbing, so she doesn't actually use the web slinger. She actually just makes it sort of similar to how Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man uses it, which I think could be pretty cool. But I also think just from a representation point of view, it could be quite cool, as Cindy Moon is Asian. So I'm not saying, like, that's the only reason I want her in. I want her in more for the sake of having Gwen have a friend, or maybe someone she can relate to in that regard. And I think it'd be quite cool to see those two characters interact. And I also just really love the design of Silk. I think her suit is, like, really cool. I'm a sucker for these characters, but they have, like, kind of like a half mask going on. I think they always look so cool. And I'd really want to see her in the movie, honestly. I really, really want to see it. But then, of course, I have one more pick. And this is probably my most wanted Spider-Man to see in the movie. And that is just Spider-Man. But not the Spider-Man you may think. I want to see the Spider-Man from the Japanese version. And it's a movie, it was released a while ago. but I want it so bad. For pure sake of comedy's sake, because there are so many noteworthy moments with this character that I just want to see. Like this scene. Or this scene. Could you imagine seeing this in animation and how funny it would be? This is by far the most absurd Spider-Man variant in my opinion, because he's not even Spider-Man basically. He's a Power Ranger. Like, if you do not know, this Japanese version of Spider-Man was basically like a glorified Power Rangers episode. And I don't know about you, but that sounds just hilarious, and I want to see that in this movie. I think it would be hilarious. I think it'd be on the same level as like how Spider-Ham was in the first film, and just be hilarious how maybe people just don't really know what he's saying, or maybe they don't like believe him that he's an actual Spider-Man until later in the film. I think that could be really funny, and I think there's a lot of value there for comedic sake. All in all though, I just wanted to make this quick video talking about Spider-Verse. I'm incredibly excited for the second film, and I just really want to see a trailer for this. I want to see who's in it. I know there's a couple confirmed Spider people in the movie already, but I'm just so damn excited for this movie, and I just wanted an excuse to talk about it to some capacity. But anyways, if you like this quick discussion video, please like and subscribe down below. It shows you really care about the videos, and it shows me you want me to make more videos like this. And I hope you have yourself a great day. See ya.